Hello and welcome. I am Jamaluddin. I am the founder of Mindfulness and I'm an independent researcher of consciousness through neuroscience and ancient wisdom. Today, I would like to share with you what is awareness or what is self awareness. So, in the process of awakening your consciousness, the first stage is to achieve self awareness. So, in every spiritual traditions, self awareness is a very important point where we get the skill of able to look into our own mind, where we are able to become aware of what our mind is doing or what we are engaged with in the moment. And if it is an incoherent mind function that we are engaged, if we are going in an unenergetic way, we can bring back to the coherent state. So the first skill that it is required to achieve or awaken your consciousness is to become self-aware. So what is self-awareness according to neuroscience and according to ancient wisdom? So I am, as I told you, I'm an independent researcher trying to understand who am I through neuroscience and through ancient wisdom. So this is an app called Mindfulness, which is my startup, which I have developed from inspired from the ancient wisdom. So the modern technology, especially EEG, the electroencephalography, is our easiest access to our mind. When we scan our brain, we can understand how the brain is functioning by detecting the changes in the electrical discharge from the neurons. So, when we think in a coherent way, the electrical discharge, the frequency of electrical discharge is in a coherent way. When you overthink, it is a different way. So by understanding how the changes in the frequency or in the rhythm of the electrical discharge from the brain, we can understand what are the states of the brain or what are the states of the mind. So this is one real-time mental health assessment done in Mindfulness app this morning, where I was monitoring my overall mental health assessment, and I'm discussing with you today how was my awareness throughout the session. So when I have started, this is how it looked. So it was very high, then it builded stability slowly, and it became very stable, and that is why I got 82% self-aware. So what does it mean to be 82% self-aware? During this 10-minute session, I was able to build my stability in self-awareness, and there was very less wandering in self-awareness, and it was just 10% unstable, which is an accepted formula. And there was 41% breach in order, which is actually higher in coherence, but still comparing, there was 82% efficiency in my self-awareness during the 10-minute session. So how we are able to understand the efficiency is by comparing in that moment with the real-time brainwave, how much is the wandering happening for that particular frequency. So you can see this is the real-time brainwave frequency associated with awareness. So Mindfulness is the first system to decode the brain waves according to the mind functions. We just don't look into the brain waves according to alpha, beta, gamma, or name it in a Greek letter, but we have identified the real brainwave frequencies associated with the mind functions. So it is easy for us to look into each mind function and see how it is functioning, how are the mental health condition for that moment, is there any disorders, and what is the wandering happening, what is the stability of that particular mind function. In our example, it was awareness, and how much time there is a breach in that order. So I was trying to in this session, for first 5 minutes I closed my eyes, then the next 5 minutes I opened a slight, kept my eyes open slightly, and I was in a flowing state where I was self-aware, was mindful, and I was conscious of the moment. So that is how I was able to achieve 82% awareness. So in if you go the wisdom behind self-awareness, I compare the my subjective experience with the ancient wisdom, especially the wisdom in ancient Egypt. So if you look into the ancient Egypt, the Egyptians called self-awareness as zokar, and there is a place called Saqqara in Egypt, which is related with the place of self-awareness. And as I study comparatively the all Middle Eastern concepts, I understood that the concept of zikr in the Quran, which translated as by traditional translation as remembrance, is in fact self-awareness. Zikr means to remember. In the traditional meaning, it's remember, but in the subjective experience, zikr means to be self-aware. So the concept of zikr in the Quran is actually inspired from the ancient wisdom of uh, Zokar, which is considered to be the son of Horus. And Horus is the personification of mindfulness, and Zakar is actually the personification of uh, self awareness. So if you look and if you try to understand the ancient mythology of Egypt, it's actually in the ancient ways they were able to convey the symbolism of how to awaken your self-awareness, and it gave the symbols of a eagle where it need to awaken, and when it flies even higher it is Horus. So in the subjective experience also we can clearly feel that when you are awakening your self-awareness, that is the first step towards your consciousness. So if you look here, if you look into how much self-conscious I was during this session, we can clearly see that the average was 71 percentage, because I was 82% of the time I was self-aware, 73% of the time I was efficient in mindfulness, and 58% consciousness. So we not only understood the each brainwave frequencies related with awareness, mindfulness, and consciousness, but we can even look into how is this brainwave functioning in each moment by understanding what is the wandering happening, what is the instability happening, how much time it is breaching the order, etc. So by looking into the subjective experience through the brain waves and understanding the differences in its electrical signal and classifying it according to the features associated with it, we can clearly understand the efficiency or the ability of a person, of how much he is self-aware, how much he is mindful, and how much is consciousness. So this is a novel method inspired from the ancient wisdom of how to measure your mind ability in your self-awareness, in your mindfulness, in your how how clarity is there in your consciousness, etc. So this wisdom, this idea, this science has been inspired to me from my deep research into ancient wisdom, especially the wisdom of Egypt. And if you look into uh, the ancient Egyptian pantheon, and the comparison of how that evolved into the Arabic Quran, so we can understand that the ancient Egyptians represented or symbolically represented mind wandering as Seth, and Seth is considered to be a powerful personification which is capable of even destroying Osiris, the consciousness, which can take out, pluck out the eyes of Horus, which is the symbolic representation of become making you unmindful. So Seth became the shaitan of Quran, and if you look into the Arabic root meaning, shaitan or shatanun, it means to wander, that is mind wandering. So from that I understood our mind is, the efficiency of the mind is calculated how much it wanders. If it wanders, the efficiency is very less. So by trying to measure the wandering of each brainwave frequency, we are able to understand what is the efficiency. And the next thing which I was able to understand is the ancient Egyptians were looking into the stability of each mind function to understand how is the clarity of the mind. So stability means how much how much stable is the brain wave associated with a mind function, or how much stable is a mind function. So if your awareness is stable, that means you are having higher efficiency. So this is represented by Amun. In ancient Egyptian pantheon, Amun is actually the personification of stability. So if you are having a person with stable mind, you have a higher Amun, or that concept of Amun is what later uh, inspired and what became Amanu or Iman in the Quran. So in the Quran, when it tells Ya ayyuhalladhina amanu, oh, which is stable in the mind, and that was exactly what the ancient Egyptians were also personifying with their mind, as when they called Amun. And Amun Ra, they mythologically represented a very stable energy. So each uh, representation or symbolic representation of ancient Egypt, and throughout all other spiritual traditions, they were trying to symbolize the subjective experiences of a person in his mind and is in energy, and how to awaken their consciousness. The same applies to the mythology or the symbolizing in the Hindu scriptures, in the Bhagavad Gita, in the Ramayana, in everything. When you look deeper into the spiritual scriptures, what we will understand is all those are personal symbolization of something personal, deep, subjective in the consciousness or in the mind. So by taking the wisdom of ancient wisdom and applying that in the scientific method, we will be able to measure the clarity of mind, how efficient is it, and document it as well. So this is my humble effort to bring into the world what I have been researching for last 15, 20 years, and I honestly think this will be helpful for someone. So if you would like to try out mind fitness and make make your mental health assessment, monitor your mindfulness practices, or monitor your awakening journey, you can try out mind fitness by accessing mindfitness.app. and we have a 7-day free trial. You need to have a Muse EEG device for trying it. And thanks for listening, and thanks for being with me till now. If you want to explore more about the ancient wisdom and how we can compare it and document the subjective experience with the neuroscience, please follow my channel, and I hope to see you in the next video.